Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Another edition of the Sustainiacs podcast with Mr. Michael Vincent, podcaster extraordinaire, president of Ocean Plastic Technologies USA. And we partner together also on fuel and emissions reduction with CyberFuels. So with all of this stuff we're doing, we're helping the environment and we're bringing money to people. So it's kind of a win-win.
Bags of money.
Bags and
bags
right.
of money.
That's right.
That's right. And they're recyclable bags though. They're biodegradable.
That is perfect. Yes.
In fact, you don't even have to use a bag if you don't want to.
Just go green. Just
that's right.
The green.
Remember when selecting a plastic bag was like the thing to do? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Everything was paper and it was like, would you like paper or plastic? Oh, give me plastic.
Oh, give me plastic. Yeah.
I want to save the planet. Give me plastic.
Oh, man.
That was a thing. That was actually a thing, right?
Oh, man. There's another great documentary on plastics, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's showing these recycling centers that are just piles and mounds and how much of the plastic actually gets recycled versus incinerated.
It's crazy. I told you.
It's crazy,
baloney.
Man.
Yeah, it's wish cycling, man. It is not happening. The single stream huge MRFs do not work. That's what we're solving at OPT. Hit me up and I'll tell you how to do it. And hit me up twice. Listen, if you want to save on your fuel costs and help reduce emissions, or you want to learn about what's really going on and how we can actually solve the plastic problem and make it circular and reduce carbon footprint at the same time, hit me up. I got both solutions. I've got it. I'm like a superhero. Andy.
It's like a boom, drop the mic.
Boom.
Exactly.
That's it. Boom. There it is.
So, Michael, you and I were chatting back and forth, and you were the moderator at TIA on the Sustainability and Logistics panel, and that was in Orlando, right?
It was the first ever Sustainability and Logistics panel for TIA. Yeah. And now
very cool.
A year thing. It was well attended, man. It was one of the breakout sessions. We got about 10% of the total audience. It was a good show. One, shout out to Ann Ranke. She killed it, and her team. It was awesome. 2,000 plus people. But yeah, I would say we got about 200 people in that room to watch that panel discussion. It was great. Lars Ward from Freightvana was on it. Bart de Monk, Chief Industry Officer from Project 44, was on that.
Yeah.
And Jordan Strawn, COO at Reed TMS, right? Was on that panel. So it was really good. It was a really good panel. We were going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he was out repairing potholes in the street in Orlando. But he was going to moderate it. That's why I filled in, because he wasn't unavailable. I don't know if you saw that or not on the AP.
I saw a little news blurb about Arnold slinging some weight around, but it was like asphalt repair on a road.
Yeah, I see him on Nautic, on Nautilus equipment and stuff like that, which he never did back in the day when he was, Mr. Universe and stuff like that. Nah, he didn't Nautilus. He was throwing on rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but no. So I mean, he's still a hey, get it done, right? I mean, there was potholes or whatever. They weren't even potholes. It was actually they put in a new like gas line or something, and then like the city is supposed to have that like filled in with within like 30 days or something, but because of the rains in Southern California, they didn't do it. But Arnold got sick of it, so he grabbed one of his security guards or his henchmen, I don't know what they call him, and one of his entourage there, his posse, and they went out and got themselves some asphalt, which I wouldn't even know where I would buy like some asphalt for personal use, but he did, and they went out there with shovels and they started filling it in.
He went out there
and just like, what the hell are you doing? And he said, well, you're supposed to do this. I'm just taking shit into my own hand. I'm going to get this done. Right. And then, so then they started filling in other gas. He's like, he got it done. Right.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, it was, some work on the road from some utility company that was delayed by, I don't remember, 2 or 3 months or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to have it done within like a month, but they were like a couple months behind because of rain and stuff or whatever it is. So he's just like, forget it. I'm going to get this done. I mean, that's what it is. And you know what? And really, I sent this to you as a hey, let's just talk about this tongue in cheek, but it actually fits, right? Because I mean, one of the things that you and I are partnered up about is, hey, there are solutions coming down, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a Mr. Fusion on our trucks one of these days, and you throw a couple banana peels in there and a package of crackers, and you can run for 500 miles. I don't know, but
And then you
it certainly
fly,
is
you
near
fly your car with on the banana.
yeah, that's right. And
Yes.
well, the banana peels is what does that, right? Electrical
Right.
banana. That's what it does.
Right.
That's the one that gets you the elevation.
Right.
But until we get there, there's things you can do and actually save money while you're doing it, right? With CyberFuels. I mean, I could almost relate everything to what we're trying to do in sustainability, whether it's from my personal angle, which is the plastic side of it, or from the cyber fuels that you and I are partnered on and that you're so passionate about, which is also a big passion of mine, is reducing those emissions, right? Because you can reduce your costs and your emissions at the same time, which is crazy because most people think that ESG or going green costs companies money, right? It doesn't have to be that way. But I did find this article that I can't possibly relate. Maybe you can figure out, or the audience, somebody in the audience can figure out how to relate this to like cyber fuels.
Okay. Right? All right.
I don't know, but this was also from the AP, and it caught my eye because of the irony, because it's just so backwards, right? There's a nudist beach in Vienna, which to me is like, okay, how many beaches are there in Vienna, Austria? I didn't imagine that there were any, to tell you the truth.
Right.
But there are enough that at least one of them is nudist. And so when the country or municipality, whatever, is building a cable car that goes across part of it, and the nudists are upset because they think that their privacy is going to be invaded.
Hey, it's a segue, man. So that's very revealing. You're revealing truth. They're revealing other things.
Exactly. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. I like that. I just thought it was funny, man. I'm a nudist. I'm going to go here and get naked, but I don't want anybody to see me.
Right. So, my mind went to, why wouldn't you just like rent yourself a little cabana and be maybe like nude inside of there or something?
Or stay home.
Or stay home, yeah. Or wear a bathing suit. Did you guys bring bathing suits to Orlando?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I took the family. I mean, I took my wife and my two girls, and we went down, and we stayed at a place near there, Reunion, which is nice. Not a real plug for them, but it's cool. Hung out at the water parks and stuff like that when I wasn't moderating the panel, which was the start of this discussion, wasn't it? The panel?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that what we were supposed to be talking about?
True. But Orlando's amazing. I love it. We've been there quite a few times as a family, and it's a lot of fun. But on that panel, sustainability and logistics, what were some of the key talking points that you guys were talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, part of it was, kind of talking about what, is being done at the three different companies that were represented there, right? Vienna and Project 44 and Reed TMS. And they each have their real interesting things that they do, right? Like Vienna does their one tree for every load, right? Which is tremendous. And they've got tens and tens, hundreds of thousands of trees that are being planted. And they work with this company, One Tree, and it is, or 10 Tree. And it is, I mean, it's tremendous because you can pick where you're going to have these trees planted, et cetera. And it's excellent work. And it's an interesting way to get the community inside and outside of Vienna involved, right? And it also is, it's sequestering CO2. So it makes sense to pair that with transportation and intermediaries. Project 44 is obvious because what they provide as a service can be used for reducing emissions and increasing efficiency, which we can get into in a minute. But then Reed TMS, they were looking for their type of thing. And Jordan Strawn shared with us that, the way it developed is when it went into the office, it was raining like crazy. They're in Tampa area. They're over there by Falkenberg and Route 4 and 75. But I think it's Riverview, Florida, whatever it is. But walked in and it was raining and the roof was leaking. Right.
Oh, wow.
So they covered it in solar panels. They
Really?
had to redo the roof anyways. So they less money, fixed the whole problem, and went green by covering it in solar panels. And now they're off the grid. At least a significant portion, if I recall. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's pretty high. They're off the
Right.
grid. So I mean, there's different things that can definitely be done. So it was one of them was talking about those type of things, right? That can be used to bridge gaps, to help to take those steps forward to make things going. Again, much like CyberFuels, but so it can be done. But a lot of the discussion was also was centered around what can an intermediary do, what should an intermediary do, and what is an intermediary going to be legally held responsible to do in the future, if not now, as far as reducing emissions and being green and so on and so forth. And so that was kind of it, having that discussion. And one of the things that was asked, Andy, was when you look at RFPs, is the question, and do you have to prove your greenness or your sustainability? Every single hand went up. Every single hand went up.
Yep.
RFPs, increasingly, you have to not only say you're green and agree with it, you got to prove you are in some way. And
Right.
there's more and more data collection out there that requires you and will expose you if you're not. So I mean, they won't even have to. Right now, if you subscribe to certain data services, I guess it is a certification services, you don't even have to ask that question, because they'll tell you. You punch in Michael Vincent Trucking or Andy Hedrick Trucking, and this service can tell you whether we're green or not, and a certain level of score. And if you're already using me, it can go in there and you can, sign up for these services, and it will actually evaluate your entire supply chain and show you where those weak links and strong links are. So you're going to be exposed. And that was one of the things. No matter who you are somebody's emissions, either 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the line, you're on the scope, so to speak, right? And scope 3 doesn't mean it's less important than scope 1. That's not how it works. It's not like degrees of murder.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, it all matters. It all matters.
Right. Yeah. It's just who's responsible. And if you're a carrier, you have just like everybody. If you're a carrier, you have your 1s, 2s, and 3s, right? You absolutely do. But here's the thing: your core business is somebody's scope 3. That's your core business. So if you don't fix your greenness, your scope 1, you ain't getting to business.
Right.
You're just not. And it's not like Andy, like I'm going to buy this soft drink over that soft drink because this one has sustainable packaging. Right? It's not that type of a choice anymore. It is, this shipper is not going to use this carrier because this carrier isn't green, because they can't. They're not allowed to. Their shareholders won't allow them to. The mandates, the incentives or tax structures or payments that you have to pay that are in many states in the United States, not federal yet, but the EU. If you do business in the EU next year, Andy, you're going to have to pay a carbon tax, period. It doesn't matter where you're from. But if you're not doing that, you're not getting a business. And it's not a choice type of thing. It is you're just not going to get that business. Right. You're not going to win that bid. You're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And even if you're an incumbent, it's not like new bids you're not going to get. Incumbents are going to be kicked out. Like I always say, the haves and have-nots, they're changing because of sustainability. Whether it's your own sustainability or outside of your scope, it will impact you. You need to pay attention. You need to do something. Right. That's kind of like what we're talking about.
Absolutely. And the government has mandated certain amounts of biomaterial, biodiesels that have to be done. And it's a mandate, you have to do it. And the good news on that front, though, is with CyberFuels, we can take that diesel that has more particulate matter in it and burn it more cleanly and more efficiently and actually save companies money while they go green, and so that's the exciting part of it.
Well, it's what's really cool about it, and the synergy that is there, and maybe people don't care about this, but they should, because it's not. This is important in everything in life, right? Is that it? Just because X doesn't work doesn't mean you need to throw it away and do Y. Okay, just if you make X better, maybe it is still the solution. You're just not doing it right. Maybe you're doing the right thing wrong. If anybody remembers that type of stuff, right? Right thing right, right thing wrong, wrong thing right, wrong thing wrong, that type of stuff, right? The whole Malcolm Baldrige Awards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, previous, TQM, right? Before there was ISO and Six Sigma, it was packaged as TQM. They just made it a different. Yeah. Six Sigma is not new, folks. Okay.
Right.
It's been around a long, long time, just called a different thing. But yeah. So you can fix, like, just like what, like biodiesel, like CyberFuels. CyberFuels is taking diesel, which everybody, bad, it's going to kill everything, right? No, if we burn it the right way and we work on it, it can actually be a fairly clean fuel, and maybe completely clean. Who knows? As we develop this type of stuff. Same thing with OPT. We're not saying plastic is the devil and plastic needs to be eliminated. Our lives would completely suck without plastics. In fact, our healthcare industry wouldn't exist without plastic. Let's just put it that way. Just think about that. Okay. Think about everything that plastic that helps our healthcare industry work. Okay. Done. You're going on a fishing trip, right? You're going on a business/fishing trip. Imagine nothing you take with you can be plastic. Good luck. Have fun. Have a lot of fun with that. As you stand in the stream naked trying to catch a fish with your hand. Some people may pay to see that. Take some videos. We'll talk about it next week on the podcast.
I think I would probably go and try and find some bamboo somewhere before I went naked in the stream, I think.
How did we get to you naked in a stream catching fish? Oh yeah, you. If we do things better, we can get to the real solutions. And who knows? Maybe we discover the real solution is right there in front of us. Right. Same thing with OPT. If we recycle differently and we change the infrastructure, the supply chain, the logistics of it, it actually can become a fairly efficient and environmentally friendly substance if we do it the right way. Right? Because the solution isn't getting rid of it. The solution right now isn't to cut off all diesel and fuel right now and just go to EVs. EVs, they catch on fire, dude. I mean, every vehicle can catch on fire at some point, but there's at least one or two that I know of, EVs, and I'm sure there's more. I don't know the exact number, but there's at least one, because I read about it this morning and I've heard about it before. So there's got to be two that just they overheat, the batteries overheat and they catch on fire, right? And there's probably people going, oh yeah, but that's like 1 or 2% or something. Well, if 1 or 2% of like the Cascadias running around the United States just randomly went up in flames, you think there might be a recall? You think? Maybe?
No, I think so. And the other part of it is ATRI did a big study on the electric carbon chain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shows that between manufacturing, mining, distribution, all the capacity you lose, et cetera, from electric, that it was more carbon. So, we've got to be, it's like doing the wrong things right in that case. Like, we're doing this thing. Yeah, but is that the answer? Is that the answer? Right. Yeah. And then the coal-fired powered plants are electric.
Yeah, the carbon intensive. The carbon intensity of the production of the EV and the batteries and everything like that. I think I read it was like on average, like the average truck, I think they assume like the average truck goes like 120,000 miles in a year, something like that. Is what they were trying to, that's the number that they used. And it was still like 2.5 years before you got to carbon neutral on an EV. Right. And that's if it's being charged with green electricity, which doesn't exist.
Right. Right. Green electricity. I love it. Where's
Yeah.
that coming from? I mean, I know
I don't
that
know.
there's some solar farms and there's some wind farms
Sure.
and things that are, but when you're talking about 2.9 million big rigs, a solar farm and some wind farms aren't gonna cut it. I don't think.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not going to cut it. And
So,
and here's the other thing that's got to be figured out is, the problem with the grid is saying this, right? And I feel like I'm like a broken record talking about this stuff, but it's important. And there's new data and people, coming to, realizations of some of the challenges that are out there. And, the organizations that buy and sell electricity, right? The privatization of the grid, like in Texas and stuff like that, right? We had the deep freeze and all that kind of stuff, right? That's one issue that can occur. But the reason that occurs is because of money. Follow the money, you'll find the answer, most likely in our society, the way we've built our society. That's kind of like Occam's razor, right? Money, boom, there's your answer. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's usually the answer. But so they buy and sell energy, right? Is basically what's going on here, right? And sometimes it's more expensive and sometimes it's less expensive, right? And so during that freeze, right, people were getting bills for like 100 grand for 1 month of electricity because of what happened there, right? And that's like, oh crap, we didn't realize this could happen. But what's happening is when sometimes wind is blowing a lot in these forms, and so solar becomes cheaper, and so they buy energy from solar. Sometimes the sun is, in certain seasons, the sun is shining more, and they actually buy solar power more than they do traditional. And then sometimes neither one of those are so great, and they're buying the traditional energy, right, and moving it. And this actually is how it works. This isn't, I'm not making this up. This is how this works. And so what happens is that cash, you want to call it extra revenue or extra capital or whatever it is, but that investment capital, the capital expenditures to maintain and improve the grid, they're not what they used to be because of the green electricity we're trying to produce, right? So our efforts to go solar and wind are actually making it more difficult for us to upgrade the grid, right? Without additional taxpayer money going in there or altruistic efforts and stuff like that. The energy companies don't have that money anymore. You can't run a nuclear plant 50% of the time and have it work. You can't have solar energy rolling through half the time and then expect the coal plant to be efficient and ready to pick up the remainder when the sun's not shining. Doesn't work.
well, and there was a major league issue in Texas where during a major ice storm, there wasn't power and people died.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was attributed to, well, the wind farms weren't running and there was not enough sun.
Because they were frozen.
They were frozen. Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then there was so much cloud cover for so long that
there was no solar. There was no solar.
Yeah. So we
got
to
we got to be smart.
Yep.
We got to be smart. And we have to realize that what we have right now, we'll get there. We're going to get there. We can get there. I'm totally confident that millions. And I'm not saying that solar is bad or wind is bad. I'm saying we need to take baby steps and move forward and think, what are the outcomes that are going to happen here, right? And a lot of times that doesn't happen, Andy, because people jump on and say, oh, money, I can make money, I can invest. Well, hell, if we let the investment community run, automotive, like my friend Zach Strickland says, they would build an engine that goes from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in a quarter mile and then explodes at the end. Right? That's how stupid financial is at building things. It's not the most efficient.
And I think we're in this period, Michael, where, there was the Industrial Revolution. Then there was kind of the information age, right?
Yeah.
We're in a sustainability revolution economy. I mean, there are going to be changes to supply chains and changes, but change is difficult sometimes, but change can be very good. And if you're in the right place and you position yourself well, you can actually take advantage while going greener, frankly.
You can make money. IBM, did a study. I saw it in Forbes a couple days ago. Actually, I did a little 2-minute segment, and that was part of the 2-minute segment a few days ago. But like 2,000 some odd executives across the 34 countries, like 20 different verticals, et cetera, et cetera. 71% ESG efforts are actually profitable. They're more profitable because of those efforts. And if you think about it, and I get, I got haters. I've made it. I've arrived. I've got haters, Andy. I've got people who are just like, oh, ESG is racketeering and blah, blah, blah. And I'll never invest in a company with ESG. Well, okay, great. Because one person says ESG is just a way for a company to make more money because it's racketeering. And the other says, I'm not going to invest in them because you don't like to make money on your investment. I don't understand. Anyway. If it was racketeering, I'd be cheering if I was an investor, because I'd be like, hell yeah, you got ESG, I'm investing, man.
Right.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? But legalized racketeering, sweet, I can make money as an investor. But the point is that over 70%, it was like 71 or 73% of these guys said that more profitable. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because you're looking for ways to do things more efficient, less waste, whether it be emissions or not. You're looking for ways to do things smarter. And that's one of the things that we talked about heavily on the panel as well, Andy, and especially with like Bart DeMonk at P44, but all three of them, Lars and Jordan as well, and everybody in the room, I think, agreed, is the responsibility of the intermediary, and really all of us, is to do things as efficiently as we possibly can, right? Because when we use things efficiently, we're handling our resources in a responsible manner. We're being responsible stewards of our resources, right? Whether your resources is data, electricity, or raw minerals, or humans, it doesn't matter if it's human resources or et cetera. If you're using it responsibly and in the most efficient manner and the least wasteful, you're going to improve the environment. You're going to improve your impact on that environment, and you're going to improve your bottom line. Period. I mean, it's really quite that simple, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. And I love talking about these topics with you, Michael. You can make money and go greener at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
if you doubt it, hit up Andy. Hit up at CyberFuels.
That's right. Absolutely.
Show you exactly how to make money and go greener.
We have Michael's special Sustainiacs page here below. So
that's the one. Yeah, go through this. If you call Andy direct, he's just going to say, "Hey, hang up. Go through this page."
Call Michael.
Probably not. He's not going to do that. But yeah, go through there anyways.
Yes, absolutely.
Unless you're one of my haters, then whatever.
Well, people resist change. That's all there is to that,
Yeah.
And eventually it's like going from the horse and buggy to a car. There were people saying, if you drive 25 miles an hour in a car, you're going to die. But it doesn't happen, right? No. It did not happen.
No. Well, I mean, back in the day, I don't know. I had a buddy in high school who had a Comet station wagon, no seat belts, and a steel dashboard.
Oh man.
You wouldn't have to go a lot faster than 25 to die in that thing.
I think the point they were trying to make was our bodies couldn't take that kind of speed increase.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've survived that.
Yeah. Luckily we did. That's probably around the time when cars were electric, right? I mean, they were electric back in the day.
I think there was some electric, there was some steam going on. There was, and then it became combustion, of course. But
how come nobody's going back to steam engines? Oh, you got to burn coal. That's right. You can't just have steam.
That's true. Yes.
Steam just doesn't occur. There has to be some sort of catalyst.
Or you would have to attach 55 solar panels and 2 wind sails to your car to create enough heat to have some steam. Well,
I know you could get some batteries and put them on there and then perform electrolysis on methane to convert it to hydrogen and then burn the hydrogen in order to create steam.
Hey.
And the steam would turn a turbine to create the electricity. Anyway. Yeah. It sounds like a perpetual motion class 8. Let's get some investors, Andy. Let's go for it.
Oh boy. Well, that might be a tough sledding right there.
Maybe when you're back from your naked and afraid fishing trip.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, Michael, I guess we're headed in the right direction, I think, as a society.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep on doing these topics, of course. Love podcasting with you. And that'll do it for this episode of the Trucking Tower Podcast, Sustainiacs edition. And thanks for coming on again, Michael.
Right on, man. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.